How's it going today, guys? So I got a very exciting topic to talk about today, and I'm not gonna lie, no, it's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it's something that you should definitely be conscious of, especially if you're a young person and you're just getting started out with like getting your own bank account and getting your checking account and like thinking ahead, and that is your credit score. So I want to talk about how I personally built my credit up as a young person, and right now I'll just say I'm 21 years old. I've had my own bank account since I was 16, got my first credit card when I was 18, and I currently have a credit score of 749, which is pretty decent for a young guy. I have 4 open lines of credit, and I also have an auto loan, which is one of the open lines of credit. And just to tell you why it's good to have credit established, I have my own loan. I don't have a co-signer on there or a co-borrower. I have a loan that I took out for $11,000 on my other car. I got a 2007 Subaru Impreza WRX. I bought it in the spring of this year. And I took out an $11,000 loan for 5 years for a 1.75% interest rate, which is quite low for somebody my age. I mean, I know friends of mine who have car loans who are paying like 10% interest. So because I established credit when I was younger, I was offered a pretty awesome rate for somebody my age. In fact, the bank told me that's the lowest rate they offer. So I remember when I was going in there, the lady who did all my paperwork was kind of saying, "Oh, you know, we're probably going to have to put you in the credit builder program." And I kind of sat there with a smug look on my face like, "No, you're not. Wait till you run my score." She ran my score. She was like, "Wow." She's like, "You have great credit. No, we're going to be able to give you this awesome rate." So she gave me a rate of like 1.75% on 5 years, which I think over the 5 years, I'm going to pay like $500 or $600 in interest, something around there. So it's not much at all compared to 10% interest rate, which would be thousands of dollars. So here's the problem with your credit is you need credit history to get a credit card, but at the same time, you need a credit card to build credit history. So getting your first line of credit is kind of difficult, but not impossible, and I'm going to explain to you how to do this. The first thing you want to do when you're 16 years old, and some banks will even let you start sooner, so start as soon as you can. So 16 or younger, open up a checking and a savings account. So you can do both. You can do just a savings account where you just have a ATM card, you withdraw cash when you need it, you put your cash in the bank. Or you can also get a checking account where, you know, you get an actual debit card and you can use it to make your purchases. Or you can do both, keep some in savings, some in checking, which is a good way to do that too. But I started that when I was 16 years old. I had to get my mom to sign on the accounts because I was under 18. And depending on the bank, you know, there's different policies like that. But what you want to do is build a rapport with that bank and kind of say, "Hey, you know, I'm a responsible banker. I don't overdraw my account. I regularly add money. I regularly use money." And you kind of want to establish a good history with the bank as far as being a good banker. And then what you want to do when you turn 18, inquire about a secured line of credit. So what that is you're going to put aside money in a CD, which is a certificate of deposit, which basically backs your line of credit. So what I did is I signed up for a $500 line of secured credit. So what I did is I took $500 out of my savings account, put it in a certificate of deposit, and that basically backed that credit card for the bank. So they said that no matter what happens, even if I ran up a $500 credit limit and never paid them, they could draw from that certificate of deposit to pay for what I owed them. So no matter what they do, it's a win-win situation for them because one, they're going to get interest off you, but they're not because you're not going to carry a balance. And even if they don't have you pay them, they're going to take it from the CD. So it's like money they can get for free from you either way. And most of them do have like a maintenance fee or a yearly fee. Mine, I think, was $50 a year. And since then, so once I turned, I believe, 21, or it was 20, somewhere around there. Actually, I think it was 21. On my birthday, they reached out to me and said, "Yeah, we're taking off that yearly fee, and we're gonna give you back your certificate of deposit. You don't need to back this credit card anymore." So that does go away over time. But at first, it is worth it. I mean, you could go to different banks and see if there are some that offer an account without a yearly maintenance fee, but most of them are going to charge some kind of fee. But it is worth it in the long run to establish your credit. So once you have had a checking or savings account with a bank for a couple years, and when you turn 18, talk to them about a secured line of credit. That's the first thing you want to do. So then what I did is this. Every single week I put my gas on the card, and then I paid the entire balance off every single month. And you want to do this for two reasons. Number one, you're probably going to have a high interest rate on this credit card because you're a high risk credit holder. So you're probably looking at like a 10 or 15% or higher interest rate. I think mine was like 15% interest, which even on a couple $100, that adds up over time. You don't want to pay any interest. The other thing is, when you have credit cards, when you carry a balance on your credit card, it actually lowers your credit score. They want to see you using the credit cards, but paying them off, showing that you don't actually need to carry a balance. And that's what's going to build your credit over time, is keeping a very low, or ideally keeping no balance on your cards, but still utilizing that credit. So then what I did that for about 1 to 2 years. You know, bought my gas, paid it every month. That gave me a buying history and a payment history, which is what they want to see. Once I had about 18 months of payments, I actually received in the mail from Discover a student credit card. And the only reason I applied for that line of credit is because they said guaranteed approval. I think I started out with a $1,000 line of credit through Discover. So I sent in my application, and then they mailed me my credit card within about, I think it was about 2 weeks I had my credit card there. So what I did with that card, and that one I actually get cash back, no yearly fee. And then there's also a lot of other benefits with that card too. I think I get like discounts at certain stores, or I haven't really utilized those, but I have gotten a good amount of cash back. Like, I've had that card for 1 year now, and I think I have a little over $150 in cash back just from using it for random stuff, buying it here and there. So that's like free money I'll get to use. And I actually did another video, which I'll link up below. That's a way to get free money from credit card companies by using this cashback system. So if you're interested in seeing that video, check the description. So what I did is I continued to buy gas on my secured credit card, and then with my Discover card I buy my groceries, and the same deal, pay it off every single month. That way you're not carrying any interest, and then you're getting double payment history, double buying history. So then every month I'm getting 2 on-time payments, which are good marks for your credit. So that's what I would do. I would suggest either doing a student credit card if it's offered to you, and if there's no offer for a student credit card, I would go for a clothing or store card or a gas station card, because those two are some of the easier ones to get because they're usually a lower credit limit, and they're more geared towards younger people who may not have large credit history or that great of a credit score. Now, you can have a great credit score with poor buying history, so there's a lot that goes into your credit score. But I would recommend looking for a student credit card at that point, or a clothing store card or gas card. Now, after 2 to 3 years of doing both of these things, so maybe you're about 20 or 21 years old now, you have a secured credit card, which is hopefully going to be no longer secured in the near future after you turn 21. And then you also maybe have a gas card or a store card or a student credit card. That's when I would recommend applying for a major credit card, you know, like a MasterCard or a Visa card, whatever it is, you know, because those cards generally have like a minimum balance or a minimum credit limit of $5,000. I actually just got my first one of those. The bank that I hold my auto loan with reached out to me. They said, hey, you've had great buying history or payment history with your car. We want to offer you a guaranteed approval on this line of credit. I said, oh, is there any yearly fee? They said, nope. I said, yeah, okay, why not? So I opened that up, and they gave me like a $5,000 line of credit. I haven't even used that card yet, just because I have enough of a headache between buying and paying those other 2 cards. But you know what? It's another line of credit to have out there that's kind of helping my credit. You don't want to have too many. At a certain point, it gets to be too much. But I mean, a couple of lines of credit is a good thing to have. And a major credit card is good too. If a major credit card recognizes you as a good person to extend a line of credit to, it does improve your credit score immensely. So a couple of other pointers I have here for you. Do not apply for more than 1 line of credit every 6 months. So don't apply for a credit card, then 2 months later apply for another credit card. Because every time you apply for a credit card, there's a derogatory mark put on your credit score. And that does go away, I think, after 2 years. I'm not sure how long, but it will go away over time. But every time there's a hard inquiry on your card, it does have a derogatory marking, so your credit score does lower for a period of time. So do not apply for a credit card more than every 6 months, we'll say. That's what I would say is the guideline. And most importantly, why are you doing this? Why is it important to establish credit? Well, here's a number of great reasons to. Number 1, lower interest rates. You're going to get a better rate. So you saw with my example, a lot of my friends are paying 10% interest on their cars. I'm paying 1.75. So over 5 years, that's thousands of dollars I'm not paying in interest. Number two, better chance of approval. If you have a better credit score, if you have buying history, payment history, you're going to have a better chance of getting approved for a line of credit or for a loan or for whatever it may be. It gives you the negotiating power, which is great, because let's say you're going to a dealer and you're trying to buy a car, and you know, they're giving you the runaround. They're saying, oh, you know, this is the best price I can do. You can say, look, I know you can do better. I have a 750 blah 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 credit score. You know I'm going to make these payments. You got to lower that price for me. I'm not a high risk buyer. You know you're going to get your money back. Call your creditors up and get me a better rate right now. That's what it gives you. It gives you that negotiating power, as opposed to somebody who goes in there and says, I have no idea what my credit score is, so, you know, I'm not in control of the situation. If you know what your credit score is, you're in the driver's seat. Easier approval process. Sometimes they don't need to do background checks, co-signers. A lot of the times, if you have established credit, they don't need to do as much background information on you, like finding out, oh, sometimes like to get a credit card, you got to send in like proof of residency and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff isn't necessary once you have credit history. Another thing too, and I actually haven't looked into this, I'm going to, you can sometimes get better car insurance rates if you have a better credit score, because I'm actually not sure what the reason is. I would imagine it has to do with the fact that responsible people with their credit are probably more responsible with their car insurance. But I'm definitely going to call my insurance companies up and kind of say, hey, you know, I'm aware of what my credit score is. Can you improve my car insurance rate? Another thing that's convenient too is you can avoid security deposits when you have good credit. In some cases, like I know with phone contracts, utility payments, sometimes if you're renting a house or renting an apartment, they require a security deposit. But if you have a good credit score, they may waive that security deposit, which is nice, because then you have more of your own money to hold on to. You don't have to set aside money as a security deposit in case you were to go scoot off on the rent, or in case you didn't pay your phone bill or didn't pay your utility bill. And then the last thing, and this is kind of an advantage, kind of a disadvantage, I guess. As long as you're responsible, it's not a disadvantage, but they will give you a larger line of credit if you have a better credit score. So for all of these reasons, guys, I highly recommend starting young. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to my age where I ask them what their credit score is, or like I bring it up and like they have no idea. They don't even have credit cards. They don't even know like how you'd find out what your credit score is. And I'll tell you right now, obviously I'm not sponsored by any of these people. I'm not sponsored by Discover or anything, or these websites I'm going to mention, but creditkarma.com is the best way to check your credit score, in my opinion. They don't sell you on some kind of enrollment in Triple Advantage, which you hear on the commercials, where you end up paying $10 a month for your credit score. You do not pay a thing. All they do is advertise credit cards to you and send you the occasional junk email. But they let you check your credit card history, they let you check your credit score. And the other thing I really like about Discover is every month they send you your FICO credit score. And then there's a number of different scores. There's like your FICO, there's your TransUnion, which I'm not going to get into. You can look into those yourself, because mostly I'm actually not sure what the difference is between those. But I know the FICO score is one a lot of people look at, the TransUnion credit score. I think the one that I pulled, I think that 749 is my FICO score. But there's a number of different scoring mechanisms out there with your credit. But I highly recommend getting the ball rolling early, because it's done a lot for me. You know, it saved me thousands of dollars in interest on my car loan. So it's something to consider as a young person, getting that credit established. Because, you know, at some point you're going to want to buy a house. At some point maybe you're going to want to buy a car. Or maybe you're going to want to, you know, get yourself an apartment, and you're not going to want to pay a security deposit. Or maybe you want to lower your car insurance. Get the ball rolling on your credit early, and don't be one of those people that has no idea what their credit score is, you know. And it kind of gives you bragging rights in a way too. When people are talking about their credit score or having bad credit, you can say, I don't have to worry about that, man. I got this killer rate on my car. I got lower insurance. I got you know, I didn't have to pay a security deposit on my apartment because I'm a responsible buyer. So I highly recommend getting smart about your credit score. So I hope this video was helpful to you guys. And like I said, I also did another video about how to get free money from credit card companies by utilizing that cashback enticement system. And that's in the description, so I recommend checking that out. But if not, that's all I got for you guys. So thank you for watching.